We live in America today where your ideology is held against you if you're a conservative, and when you're a liberal, we're supposed to embrace everything about you and not ask hard questions. That's not the world we're going to live in. And I'll say this, if we get back the Senate and we're in charge of this body, and there's judicial openings, we will talk to our colleagues on the other side, but if we're in charge, she would not have been before this committee. You would have had somebody more moderate than this.
Yeah, so no, the strategy they had with Merrick Garland, the strategy that people like Ted Cruz telegraphed before the 2016 election, they're still on that same thing. Like they're going to have an iron grip over this entire process. He sort of at least tries to seem a little bit more reasonable by implying that a more moderate candidate could make it on. But we know the vast majority of Republicans would never allow even that. So just a reminder of the stakes with the midterms. If the Senate does go to the Republicans, it doesn't matter if Clarence Thomas keels over the next day. Joe Biden probably is not getting another Supreme Court justice, no matter what happens. And honestly, while they're telegraphing that they'd love to lock down the process in the future, please don't miss that they're also trying to do it right now. They voted in lockstep, all the Republicans, to block Ketanji Brown Jackson for moving on from the committee to the full Senate. So thankfully, that didn't actually work on them, although they did vote against it. So Senators Mitt Romney and Lisa Murkowski joined Susan Collins in saying that they will support her. So that is the entirety of the Republican Senate support for her. But in this case, it actually proved to be important because what the Democrats did was they used a procedure to force the nomination out of the deadlocked panel by having a vote of the full Senate. And because they have the 3 Republicans and because all the Democrats so far are acting right, they were able to get it out right there. And it looks like that's a wrap on this process. If you've got those 3 Republicans, right? Murkowski says she voted for Ketanji Brown Jackson in part because the corrosive politicization of the review process for Supreme Court nominees, which on both sides of the aisle is growing worse and more detached from reality by the year. Again, it is not, but whatever. Romney called Judge Jackson a well-qualified jurist and a person of honor. But we do need to balance this out with how the rest of the Republicans view this thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene responded by tweeting, Murkowski, Collins, and Romney are pro-pedophile. They just voted for KBJ. So that's fun, Dan. Totally qualified woman, totally reasonable, not any crazy wild-eyed progressive or anything. She's pro-pedophile, and anyone who allows her to get on the court is too.
This is going to work for a certain base of the Republican Party, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is always going to attack that base. And we saw what happens when you try to make a case for censuring people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, the most extreme people in the Republican Party, the Jim Jordans, the Ted Cruz's on a given week when he's performing on TV. And that doesn't work because Republicans have decided they'd rather look the other way at a potential opportunity to gain votes from people they are fear-mongering towards at the risk of increasing the heat and the rhetoric. Because really, if you are starting to create a political culture where it is fine to believe that in conspiracy theories, this is not true, but it's fine to believe in conspiracy theories that every top echelon of politician, but somehow not the Republicans, are involved in like pedophilia or child like sexual misconduct or things like that. Like, unfortunately, this happens in every aspect of society with people of all ages, and it's gross and sickening. But we need to be real with what the Republican Party is allowing to happen, because the moderates are saying, yeah, let's just turn the other way because maybe we'll get some votes from these people. And at the end of the day, we can get our Supreme Court picks, we can pass our tax cuts for the rich, and we can continue to do our regular ideology and go on our merry day, regardless of what people think about the Democrats. And who cares if people take it to the point where they go, oh no, we have to defend these babies with our lives, and they start to like take up arms against people because we're getting votes. It doesn't matter. It's the decaying of our democracy happening right in front of us.
Yeah, they'll watch the decay of the democracy. They'll watch the political violence from inside their mansions on beautiful 80-inch flat screen TVs. That's where they'll see it. Yeah, the whole point is the monetary stuff, but the attacks matter along the way. The idea, I'm never gonna get beyond this, and so I apologize. If you believe that like everyone that you disagree with, lots of people are pedophiles, that says something about you. Because me as a person, I think pedophilia is awful, and for that reason, very rare. But they think, no, everybody wants to have sex with kids. If you're capable of thinking that, there's no way that doesn't say at least something about you and your worldview. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna be consistent on the issue, by the way, because you'll notice that while Marjorie Taylor Greene tries to say that everyone who supports her is pro-pedophile, and by the way, she doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact that many Republican senators have voted to confirm her to other layers of the court. She's moved past that. She probably doesn't even know that exists. She wasn't bothered by hanging out and in fact touring with Matt Gaetz. As far as I know, the only serving congressman who's been accused of child sex trafficking. She's cool with that. And she's not focusing on the fact that in Tennessee right now, there's what's being called a get out of jail free card, GOP bill that would eliminate age requirements for marriages in Tennessee. So which party exactly is cool with dating young people? I mean, you guys were fine with the Roy Moore. You like the Matt Gaetz. You're trying to lower those age requirements. I don't think there's a lot of pedophilia, but if there were, you better check your own side. I don't know, Dan, what do you think?
I think you put it very well right there.
Thank you.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.